After my mother passed away, the pain of loss was immense. She was always the person who supported me, who taught me the greatest lessons in life, and who, with all her love, did everything she could to make me a good person. She wasn't rich, but she always lived a simple and dignified life, and she always told me that the most important thing in life was to have peace and health, not wealth. However, her death brought something unexpected, a secret will, something I never imagined existed. In the days that followed, the whole family was together, trying to cope with the loss, trying to support each other. But when the lawyer entered the room and handed over the papers, the reality of the situation began to unfold in a way I never imagined. Before we dive into this story, tell me, where are you watching from? Put your city or country in the comments and take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel because we have an incredible new story waiting for you tomorrow, made especially for you. The meeting with the lawyer. The lawyer my mother had chosen was someone we didn't know very well. He appeared discreetly, wearing a dark suit with a leather briefcase in his hands. He got straight to the point without beating around the bush. I am responsible for delivering Mrs. Claudia's will. Mrs. Claudia was my mother. She had always been known as a reserved woman who lived a modest life. So when the lawyer began to read the will, we were all prepared to hear something simple, perhaps some instructions on how to divide her small possessions, such as furniture and sentimental items. But what he read was completely different. The surprise in the will. The will began with kind words, as expected. She thanked us for our love and support during her life, expressed her desire that we continue to live in harmony, and apologized for not being able to be with us during important moments of our journey. So far, everything seemed as expected. However, when the lawyer began to read the final part of the will, my family fell completely silent. The condition was there, in bold, and it read as follows. I leave my entire estate to my son John, but with one non-negotiable condition. He can only inherit if upon reaching the age of 30 he has done something significant for society and for others, something that proves his empathy, his character, and his ability to positively impact the lives of others. If he does not fulfill this condition, the inheritance will be donated to charities that serve at-risk youth, without exception. Everyone was shocked, speechless. My name was there, but the condition was something I would never have imagined from my mother. She never mentioned it, never prepared me for this idea, and suddenly I found myself in a situation that demanded more from me than I could ever have imagined. The challenge. As the days passed, reality began to weigh on me. My mother, a simple woman without wealth, was leaving me a significant inheritance, but with enormous pressure. I knew that my mother had always talked about the importance of helping others, being a good person, and living ethically, but this seemed like a test I wasn't prepared to face. The condition she imposed made me question many things about my life. I was only 29 at the time, and that challenge seemed impossible. How could I prove that I had done something meaningful in a year? What would that contribution to society be? And more importantly, what exactly was my mother expecting from me? The weight of family expectations. The hardest part of this story was dealing with my family. My mother had always been a respected woman, but she wasn't wealthy. Throughout our lives, she never talked to us about leaving a large inheritance. Suddenly, all my relatives were looking at me as if I were the only one who could solve this problem, and the weight of that was unbearable. My father, uncle, and aunt started pressuring me. They didn't say it openly, but the expectation that I would be the one to fulfill my mother's wishes hung in the air. They didn't understand what was at stake. They didn't see the emotional burden this placed on me. After all, I had already achieved a lot on my own, or at least I thought I had, but now I realized that what my mother wanted wasn't money or status. She wanted something deeper from me. The journey to fulfill the condition. I knew I had to do something big, not just for myself, but for her too. The first step was to try to understand what my mother wanted. With the help of a close friend of my mother's, who had always been closer to her than I was, I began to analyze her life. I discovered that even without much money, my mother helped a lot of people without wanting recognition. She helped friends and neighbors, she donated clothes and food, and she was always available to those who needed emotional support. But I never realized how important this was to her until that moment. That's when the key to fulfilling my mother's condition began to make sense. The contribution she expected was not about money or status, but about genuinely transforming lives. I should use my skills and resources to truly impact the lives of those around me, and that's what I started to do. Real impact. I decided to start a volunteer project at a local orphanage where vulnerable children needed more than just donations. They needed attention, affection, and opportunities to develop. I started working with them, helping with their homework, organizing activities to stimulate their creative skills, and offering emotional support to overcome the difficulties they faced in their lives. As time went by, I realized that my true mission was there, not in the great material wealth my mother could leave me, but in the opportunity to impact lives. What surprised me most was the emotional return I received from these children. They began to see me as a mentor, someone who could help them see the world in a different way, and that gave me a sense of fulfillment I had never experienced before. The revelation. At the end of the year, as my 30th birthday approached, I was faced with a big decision. My mother's inheritance was still at stake, but what I had learned during that year made me realize that maybe it wasn't about the money. I had fulfilled the condition, but not because I was after the inheritance, but because I finally understood what my mother wanted to teach me. She wanted me to be someone who helped others without expecting anything in return. On my birthday, the lawyer showed up again. Everyone was there, and he was about to announce the distribution of the inheritance. Before making any decision, I did something unexpected. I returned the money, saying that deep down, I had already received the greatest gift my mother could have given me, the opportunity to positively impact people's lives. The family was shocked, and I understood at that moment that true wealth was something much greater than any material possession. Conclusion. What my mother left me was more than an inheritance. She left me a legacy, a purpose in life. The material inheritance was set aside, but the value that really mattered was in learning to be a better person for others. The decision to fulfill my mother's secret will change me forever. Today, I am an active volunteer, and I continue to work to impact lives, just as my mother did. And all she wanted was for me to be a person who really made a difference. So guys, what did you think of this story? It's amazing how sometimes the greatest gift we receive is not in material possessions, but in the legacy our loved ones leave us. My mother taught me a lesson that I will carry with me for the rest of my life, and I hope this story has touched your hearts as well. If you liked it, don't forget to like and share this video with someone you think needs to hear this message. Here on our channel, we have many other exciting and transformative stories waiting for you. Now, I want to hear from you. What was the biggest lesson your family or someone close to you taught you? Leave your comment below because we love to hear what you think. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't waste any time. Click the subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of our videos. We have many more incredible stories coming up, and I'm sure you won't want to miss out. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Until then.